Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here and This Is Just the Beginning. I hope you're well and I hope you've had a really good week since the last time I spoke to you guys. Today, I guess you've seen it from the episode title, I wanted to talk to you about everything to do with standing up for yourself, empowerment, finding your voice. And I'm going to do a different take on it to usual, and I've actually planned out this episode pretty well for once, so I won't be rambling quite as much as I usually do. First of all, I wanted to address the kind of difference between self-confidence and arrogance because it's something that people get wrong so much. And I've recently just posted a blog post all about this, so be sure to check that out with actual definitions and more in-depth research towards self-confidence and arrogance. But I'm just going to start with some definitions of what I think self-confidence and arrogance is all about. So self-confidence is a positive belief in oneself and one's abilities. It involves having a realistic understanding of one's strengths and weaknesses. And the people who are self-confident are often open to feedback and willing to learn and grow, which is really important here. As you know, I'm always about self-growth and understanding. Confidence is typically accompanied by humility, as confident people don't feel the need to boast or seek constant validation from others. And I'm going to get into this in a few minutes' time, but this is just starting off the episode. And finally, self-confidence is empowering and allowing individuals to pursue their goals with determination and resilience. So you hear that, it's all positive. It's not anything to do with arrogance at all. And you might be thinking, well, maybe it is. But no, arrogance stems from the inflated sense of self-importance and superiority. And it's really important to note the superiority thing here. I'm not going to talk trash about men at all here, but that's why arrogance is mainly associated to men, because they have this superior kind of status to women, or they used to in the past. And some people still portray those kind of competencies, well, not even competencies, but they portray that kind of persona even now. And it's not just men, I'm not saying that, but that's a way to think about it in terms of arrogance. I'm sure we all know, especially in school, when there's always like the cocky guys, the really arrogant guys. I like arrogant guys, but it does get to a point where it is that superior status, the kind of the boasting and all of that, and you don't want to be associated with those kind of people because they just make you feel shit about yourselves. But I will get onto that kind of narcissistic traits maybe later on in the episode. And arrogant individuals often exaggerate their abilities and achievements, sometimes at the expense of others. As I said, they make people feel shit, they dumb people down, they make you feel small. I'm not going to go into it too much in this episode, but I really do want to do it at some point to do with the whole narcissistic traits and that kind of thing, especially in relationships. And I might do a whole episode about relationships soon, but I need to get my own life in order first before I go into that. Carrying on, arrogance can manifest as a dismissive attitude towards others' perspectives or feelings. And I just mentioned this as well with like achievements. Again, it's the making people feel small thing. And they do it on purpose because they truly believe that they are a better person than the other person, which is ridiculous because no one is better than anyone else. Arrogant people may refuse to acknowledge their flaws and mistakes, believing they are always right. And I'm sure right now you are thinking about that one person in your life or the person that used to be in your life who is this kind of person. And I can name more than one, actually. I know quite a few people who are like this. And it's not just guys. Even though I said that it's mostly guys, it's definitely not just guys. It is girls as well, just to keep that in mind. And finally, arrogance often alienates others and can lead to impersonal conflicts and negative perceptions. And it goes on and on and on about this. And this is why my blog post has more information about this. But I truly believe that arrogant people are, if you've had that kind of person in your life, you know that they at some point just break down and they show their kind of true colors, the good emotions, the good feelings, things that you want to see from them that you've never seen. And they finally let that all like come out. And then you're just sat there like, I actually don't want to be around you anymore, but I need to be here for you now. And then they just like pull you back in. So that is, again, another narcissistic trait, but we're not talking quite about that just yet. So with those definitions in mind, keep thinking about them, write them down if you want to, if you're really kind of intrigued by this topic. But recently I have learned the power of self-confidence. And as I said, being confident is not the same as arrogant. And this is what so many people get wrong. It is not arrogant, listen to me here, it is not arrogant to stand up for yourself, to know your worth, to know what you want in life, to not stop until you get it. It's not arrogant to say how beautiful you are, how intelligent, how kind, what a great person you are. You are not full of yourself. You are simply showing self-worth and confidence. And oh my God, this is why I hate people sometimes. I don't. I see good in everyone, you know that. But sometimes when those people just do not understand that you're trying to work on yourself, your self-growth journey, self-discovery, self-importance, self-worth, all of these things that I talk about on here, and those people do not understand it. And I'm just like, why does that not process in your brain that I'm trying to do something good for myself? And even with all of the attention on social media and in the media about how important it is to work on yourself, some small-minded people still don't understand the importance of that. And that is what drives me crazy, because it's so important. And I feel like that's going to be a word I say in this episode. You know, I always repeat stuff, but I think it's just so crucial, I'll change the word, to work on yourself. And it's the most valuable thing you can ever do for your life, because it not only betters the relationship with yourself, which is the foundation and the whole concept of it, it's also about bettering your relationships with others, because you learn how to communicate, you learn how to set your boundaries, or it makes you a better employee at work, because again, you know your boundaries and you know what you're worth, whether you then move on to a different job once you've kind of figured out who you are, what you want, all of these things. It makes you better in every domain of life, not just in yourself. And that's what's so important, again, to hold on to when you think you've been doing your self-growth journey for months, for years, and you're still not where you want to be. But where is where you want to be? What, to have no insecurities, to not be anxious? We are always going to have those things. Again, it's about having that self-compassion, being compassionate with yourself and being kind and gentle. So when you do have those bad body image days, those really anxious days, whatever it is that you struggle with, you are going to struggle with them, even if you are the best version of yourself, whatever the hell that means. All I'm saying is, in self-growth journeys, is that you are constantly working on yourself. You are constantly bettering yourself every single day. And I say often how I think you should do one thing every day that your future self will thank you for. And this can kind of come into so many different things, whether that is do the extra task on your to-do list so tomorrow you don't have to do it. Obviously avoiding burnout, and I've spoken about that a lot recently, but it's just an example. Or, getting the extra hour sleep so that you're not tired for tomorrow. Or something even deeper, like making sure you do your shadow work and your journaling so that you can become calmer in the future, and you know your trauma, you can get through it, that kind of thing. Going to therapy again so that you can process your trauma instead of letting yourself carry out your whole life. Big, small things, whatever it is, but do one thing every day your future self will thank you for, whether that's tomorrow's self or 10 years time. You will become a lot calmer in your mind anyway for constantly trying to work on yourself. I get that sometimes it can be really counterproductive and you become really overwhelmed and stressed about this whole self-growth journey. You might be thinking, why am I not healing yet? Why is this not working? And remember that you are on a different life path to the person next to you, to your sister, to your best friend, to your boyfriend. You're always on a different life path, no matter, even if you feel like you're on the exact same path, you're doing the exact same things. I spoke about this with my last episode with my best friend. You are always on your own life path, and that is scary, and it's a bit, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do it on my own, but you have to do it on your own. Anyway, getting back to the episode, I was going off on a tangent about self-growth, but you know how passionate I am about these things. But have you ever been in the same room as someone who exhibits this kind of self-confidence I'm on about? Someone who has been on this life path journey for a while, or someone who just is so sure of themselves and have so much self-worth. They literally glow with good energy and warmth. And since I've started my kind of healing journey, post-anorexia, all of those things, I've been told by numerous people that I kind of exhibit that exuberant glow, the radiance, and you know when someone tells you that you look happier, it makes you feel so good about yourself. I know sometimes, the girl mind can go in the way that, what, did you not think I looked happy before? Did you think I always looked grumpy? I know that as well, but when someone makes a compliment about your personality and that they see that you've changed, they see that you're glowing and you've put in all that work, it is the most amazing feeling. It's just like with sport. For example, if you've been doing sport for a while and you can't, a football analogy. I don't play football. I was going to use a hockey analogy, but I know most people don't play hockey. They don't know a lot about hockey. But in football, if you've been trying to get, your bicycle kick, I know that's quite hard to do. Well, I'm guessing it's quite hard to do. They've been working so much and you have been going to training and you've been trying to do it and your coach sees that you just keep failing. Then you go away at night and you carry on doing it. And this can apply to anything, but I'm just going to use this analogy. And then you practice for months and then you finally get it. And then you do it in a match, you score a goal, and then your coach comes over to you, or even another team player. But I know that it means more coming from your coach. And your coach comes over to you saying, oh my God, that was amazing. I'm so proud of you. And that makes you feel so good because someone has acknowledged a win. Someone has acknowledged your achievement. And then it makes you feel even better about yourself because maybe you've been thinking, oh, I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to do it. And then when you have done it and someone acknowledges that, it's the best feeling in the world. And it's the same here with your kind of self-growth journey. When someone sees that you have changed, that you look happier, you look so much more sure of yourself, that is the best compliment I think you can ever get. So in relationships, I hate when someone comments on my body. You guys know what I've been through with all of that. I hate when someone says a very materialistic, very shallow comment saying, I love your body, or I love your curves, or I love your six-pack, whatever it is. I am so, such an advocate for not commenting on people's bodies. Okay, sometimes when I'm having a bad body image day and someone says, you're beautiful, I really like your body, sometimes it can make me feel better, but at the end of the day, I would much rather have a compliment about my personality. And I've told this to some guys recently and some people recently, but you know what guys are like when they just comment on your body all the time because they think that, especially if you've been through an eating disorder or something like body dysmorphia, body image issues, that kind of thing. And you tell them that and they think the best way to kind of help you see that you are beautiful is to tell you how your body is good. That's not how it works. And I keep telling people that. And in my past relationship, I know I bring this up quite a lot, but in my past relationship, I really struggled with my bad body image and all of that because I just started recovery from an eating disorder, so I was just gaining weight. And I broke down about it a lot to him. And he just always told me how good my body looks, etc. But no, I want someone, if I am in that breakdown mindset, I want someone to tell me, not to tell me that my body looks good, because in that moment in time, I think my body looks shit. And I know that regardless, bodies look beautiful all year round, and I say that so much, I know. But you understand as well, in that situation, you don't want to be told that your body is beautiful. You just want someone to sit with you whilst you're crying, go and make you a cup of tea, sit by your side, put a good movie on. And you know what I mean? In that breakdown mindset, you don't want to talk about it. You just want someone to cuddle you, put your favorite movie on, watch Twilight with you, watch the Eras tour film with you, whatever it is. You don't want them to be like, oh, you're so beautiful, because you know what I mean? It's the most annoying thing in the world. And I hate that. It's the same when you're having a breakdown, I don't know, to your mum or something about you don't know where you're going in life, your career's failing, all of those kind of things. And then your mum says, I'm so proud of you, you've come so far, you've achieved so much, you're doing so well, you're doing better than you think you are, you're so strong, all of those things. In that moment, you're just like, no, please just piss off. I don't want to hear that right now. I just want to hear that you love me. You know what I mean? You just want to hear, sure, something positive, but again, someone to just hug you and just say, you'll be all right, not say you're doing so well, don't think those things. No, that is just the most annoying thing. So going back to the idea, when someone does make that compliment of how well you're doing, it is the best feeling in the world. So then it's the same thing when you see someone showing that much self-confidence, that much self-worth, you think, okay, maybe you feel a bit jealous of them, but then at the same time you think, I want that person in my life. So why don't you want that person to be you? And you can do that too. You can show that self-worth. You can show that self-confidence. It does take a lot of work. But if you're here today listening to this episode, you are in the self-help world. You are on your way to becoming that kind of person. But again, it's not about reaching a goal in self-discovery. It's never about a certain goal. It's about constantly bettering yourself. Sure, you can have a goal saying oh, I don't want to feel insecure all the time. Yeah, okay, that's a goal, but there is no time limit to it. When you start thinking about SMART goals at work or in sport, whatever it is, I'm sure you've heard of SMART goals. They need to be specific, measurable, attainable, I don't really know, relevant, time-bound. I think that's it. I should really know this, but you can't have a time-bound or even measurable, especially measurable. You cannot have that kind of measure for self-worth. You know what I mean? It's not like you have a SMART goal for running and you want to get 5k under 20 minutes. I don't know what your goals are, but that is attainable, that is measurable. You can measure that. There is no measure in self-worth and self-discovery other than those days you could measure it off, I guess, you're feeling a bit better every single day. So maybe that's the way to look at it as well. But then when you go to this person who is so radiant and glowing, and when I say glowing, I don't mean, and I know this is going to sound really weird, but when people say, oh, you're glowing, I don't know whether it's an after sex glow, that I've been thinking about this recently, and I always thought it meant your face is glowing, and I'm not just talking about sex glow, whatever, but you know what I mean? I always just thought it meant you look like you're glowing, you look healthy, your physical appearance, No, I've learned that it means, no, you just look happy and you have this kind of aura around you. I don't see auras or any of that. I know some people do, but I do believe that people do have this kind of energy bubble around them. And it's more like a sense. I can like pick up on a vibe. And that's not me being spiritual. I think everybody has that kind of vibe check, vibe radar, whatever you want to call it. So I see like, okay, that person is not giving off good vibes. Like I can feel it, rather than see a glow around them. But it is kind of the same thing. You kind of see that glow that they're happy. And it's the same with like a post-sex glow. If you understand me here, like, sure, yeah, your skin looks better. Okay, that is one sign of it. But also like you just look happier. You look obviously like content, obviously. But you know what I mean? Like, and it's the same with the glow of self-growth and everything. You just give off the energy, and I talk a lot about the high vibrations in the world, the energy, giving out good energy, you get back good energy, law of attraction. You're probably sick of hearing me say that, but it's the same thing here. Like you just see someone have this glow around them and you want them in your life. Like you are attracted to them, not romantically, but you are attracted to them like a magnet, because we are attracted to good energy. I know there's some people who think that they only get bad people in their life or whatever, but that's just because they don't see the good in people. They don't see that you can have good in your life, and they think they don't deserve it. And that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other chapter of self-worth. But I'm just saying that you want to know that person who is glowing. And it's not arrogance, though I understand why some people would shy away from that kind of person, because if they're being all confident, there is a fine line between confidence and arrogance. But if you know what you're looking for, if you understand the kind of self-discovery journey, you know that is not arrogant. You know that is someone who has put in so much work to be this person, and they are showing people how kind of healed they are and how much better they are in themselves, how sure of themselves they are. Maybe they've gone through shit in the past when someone has put them down, someone has made them like dim their light. And you know what I mean? Like, I just feel so proud of those people who feel that kind of amazement of self-growth. And on that note, you should not feel like, or you should not have to, hide your true self away from other people. And this is kind of getting on the topic of authenticity and being yourself. The worst kind of people in the world who judge people for having passions, for being passionate about things, and quashing them for getting excited. This is one of my favourite quotes of all time. This is by, I'm sure you're not surprised, by Miss Blondie herself, Taylor Swift, of course. But if you feel like you have to dim your light around other people, that's not good at all. And if you are hearing this now and you feel like you are doing that, you know that's not a good thing. I'll give an example here. Sometimes, I'm sure you know, whatever age you are, if you're in girl friendship groups or like two people friendships, they can become competitive. And sometimes you find yourself in a friendship group when you're constantly battling for attention, constantly one-upping each other. Things like who is a better boyfriend, who had better sex, who has a better job, who has better grades, all of these things. And they can apply to any age whatsoever as well. And this is frankly exhausting. This is why girl friendships are the most draining thing. And I will be a pick-me girl here and say, I prefer guy friendships, because if there's beef with a guy, they just punch each other and then it's over with. Or they say, mate, don't talk about that. And it's over with. And you can banter with guys without them like getting upset. And I prefer to hang out with guys. I know a lot of girls say that, but it is so true. Of course, I have my girl best friends. I have some that I hang out with, but I attract better energy with guys. And I hang out with those kind of cocky guys because I like those people, but then I do kind of, distance myself from those kind of people, because I know that arrogance obviously is not a good thing, because that often leads to narcissism, etc. But anyway, talking about friendships, there's also those friendships where the other person is really insecure and even jealous, so much so that you feel like you have to dim your light a little when you're around them, and you don't feel like you can share your achievements because that would just make them feel insecure. But let me tell you this, if you have these kind of friends, in quotation marks, in your life, who don't celebrate your achievements, no matter how big or small, and they don't see the value in those little achievements when they're supposed to be your friend and know that this little achievement is a huge win for you. I don't know, I'll give an example of if you have been getting D's all year in history, then you finally get a C. And then some people might not understand that that is a good thing for you because you've been getting like worse grades all year, as a little example. I don't really know here. Or if you haven't been sleeping properly recently and you finally get 4 hours of sleep instead of 3 hours of sleep. I don't know, whatever your like small goals are or small achievements, those kind of things really do, like, if a friend is your friend, they should really celebrate those achievements with you. as well as the big achievements like getting your dream job or getting an A star in your A levels or getting a boyfriend, or you know what I mean, like these bigger achievements. I'm not saying getting a boyfriend is an achievement, but you get what I mean. And these bigger achievements should be celebrated just as much as the small achievements. But if those friends don't do that, then I'm sorry, but they're not your friends. You should not have to dim your light for the sake of someone else's worries and insecurities. I understand it. I've been in that position before where your friend is going through something, for example, like they're really struggling to find any job and you've just landed your dream job and you don't want to tell them, which is understandable because they're like really insecure about it. They're really trying to find anything or anyone that will take them, and you feel like you don't want to tell them. And this also applies to like normal friendships as well when this isn't the case, because it's a human thing to not want to hurt someone and not want to, you know what I mean, like tell them. But any friend, even if they're going through it, they should still celebrate it. They should still be excited for you. They might turn around and say, I'm really happy for you. I'm struggling right now, so I can't celebrate as much as you want me to right now. Like, I don't really want to talk about it, but I just know that I am proud of you. Just something like that. And then even that makes you feel good because you recognize that they're in a good place. Or even the other way around, if you say to them, look, I know that you don't want to talk about it. I know that this might make you a little bit upset, but I just landed this dream job. Another example is when you're both going for the same job, or you're both going for, I don't know, head of school, if you're that age at school, and then you get it and your other friend doesn't, or maybe you get told before them. Or I don't know if you've watched Gossip Girl or any of those shows when all the friends are applying to Harvard together or Oxford, and then you all obviously find out at a different time, and then like you get in and then they don't, and then they say, oh, I didn't get in, then they're really upset, they're crying, and then you're like, but I did get in. And that's the best feeling ever. Again, if you got an A star and your friend got an A, you know, if you're in a very competitive academic friendship, I've been in that position before, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to tell them because it is going to hurt them, even if they're your best friend and they don't quash you and they don't make you dim your light. You do feel a bit bad for telling them. The same thing happened when I really wanted to get 3 A stars, and this makes me sound so shallow, but I have always been an A star student. So when I did my A levels, which was 3 years ago now, that is a long time ago, but doing my A levels, I knew I was going to get 3 A stars, and I was on track to get 3 A stars. I was the top in my class in every single class. I was getting like 80% all year round. I had always got A stars. At GCSEs, I got all A stars. And, you know, I was great at my subjects. I was amazing at my subjects. And when I received my A-level results, I got 2 A stars and 1 A. And I was, to say the least, I was very dramatic about it. I was just really pissed off, to be honest. Like, really pissed off, and seeing as though we didn't actually do our A-levels because of COVID, which makes me seem quite young as well saying that. But anyway, like, because we didn't do the A-levels, we just did, oh my god, like constant testing throughout that whole last year at school in 6th form. Like, we just did like little tests every week, and that just really pissed me off because I was like, can't we just do actual A-levels? But anyway, I was sure that if I'd actually done A-levels, if COVID wasn't there, I would have got 3 A stars from the exam board. But my teacher gave me an A. And if I'm going to be even more shallow about this, I applied to Oxford. I didn't get in. But I think if I did get in, my teacher... So I was meant to do German at Oxford, and I got the A in German. And I think my teacher was just a bit salty. I don't know why, but I was the best in the class. My friend got an A star in that class, even though she was... like, she always got lower grades than me. And I was really pissed off by that. But I know that my school, being a private school, did kind of manipulate some grades for people. The ones doing medicine got the grades they needed, even though they were not on track to receive those grades. Whereas if I had got into Oxford, they would have given me an A star because I needed an A star. So I'm just a bit annoyed at that. I wouldn't have gone to Oxford anyway. I'm not an Oxford girly. God forbid that. I do not like studying anymore. I would have dropped out way sooner than I dropped out of Warwick. But anyway, getting back to the point. But my best friend, she got lower grades than me, and she was just kind of fighting to pass her A-levels, to be honest. So I remember being in a position where she was actually away in Australia when she got her A-level results, but I phoned her saying, hey, how did you do? And she did a lot better than she thought she would. I think she got a B and 2 C's or something like that, which for her was just the most amazing thing. So she thought about it in another light by saying she was thankful that we didn't do A-levels, because she thinks that if she didn't do them, then she would have got worse grades and she might not have passed them. So she has another attitude to it. So in this position, we are 2 completely different people. And she said to me, how did you do? And I just had to say to her, that I was really happy with my results, even though I wasn't. But then I did remind myself as well that, Ellie, you got A stars. Regardless, if you didn't get 3, you got 2 A stars. That is fucking amazing, if I'm being honest. And for so long, I just always wanted more. And that was when I was in the stage of my life where I did always want more. And I was kind of greedy with that. And that was the first time I never got an A star. So I was just feeling really like, oh my God, what do? I didn't get an A star. But it didn't matter. I didn't need that A star. And it's on my CV now. Oh my God, looking at 2 A stars and an A is bloody impressive regardless. Looking at 3 Bs is impressive regardless. It does not matter. And if I look back to GCSEs, nobody cares what grades you've got at GCSEs. If you are that age now where you think GCSEs, A levels, they are like the be all and end all, they're not. What matters when you apply to jobs is your work experience and the person you are. Your grades don't really show who you are. Like, you could have got really bad grades during school, but then you could be the most amazing employee that everyone wants to hire. And I get that sometimes when you're applying to jobs, sometimes they do want a certain degree at university, or they want certain A levels. I get that. It's the same when you're applying to university. And then sometimes you just think, oh my God, I just wish I could just get an interview with them to show them how passionate I am, etc. And I know that it is annoying. But anyway, I have definitely gone on a tangent about grades and stuff, so I hope you don't think I'm really shallow by that. But if you're a very high academic achiever like I was, then hopefully someone out there understands what I mean by that. I was just really salty that I did not get that A star. But I'm so over it now. I'm not even in education anymore, so it does not matter at all. But my whole point there was just saying that you can have those friendships where it's so good, like the friendship is not toxic in any way. It's nothing to do with, one-upping or anything like that. You are just honestly best friends who always have each other's back. Even in those friendships, you can feel like you're hurting someone sometimes. But as long as you're honest, and again, with the boundaries, and communication is a huge thing, even in friendships. As long as you have that communication in place and that kind of plan in place in case something goes wrong, then you know what I mean? Like, you know that you're going to be stronger. You know that you're going to get through it together. So if you feel like you should have to dim your light to your friend, in a good way though, because you know that they will feel bad about it, but it's not in a toxic way, I get that is okay. But maybe say to them, like, look, and you have probably been in this position before as well. Like, just say to them, hey, like, I didn't want to tell you this, but this happened. I've got this job. I did this. Oh my God, it's amazing. Maybe you've just got a boyfriend and they've just broken up with their boyfriend, or their boyfriend cheated on them. So they're obviously in a really dark place with regards to relationships, and they might not want to talk about it. But 9 out of 10 times that friend will turn back to you and say, why didn't you tell me? That's incredible. Then you say, because I know you're going through this and I didn't want to tell you because I thought I'd hurt you. Yeah, they probably are a bit hurt, but they're probably more hurt that you didn't tell them. So that's the kind of positive spin on toxic friendships, that there can be good friendships when this still happens, but just always communicate with each other. Now, going back to that Taylor Swift quote about those people who quash your passions and make you feel small, ask yourself if you've ever been in that situation. Maybe it's not with a friend, maybe it's with a current partner or an ex. Are they telling you not to get excited about something? Are they quashing some of your dreams because they're silly in their opinion? If you're experiencing this, don't worry, you're not alone. I have been there. In relationships, it is harder as well because love is involved, but they should not be treating you like that. And I'll give an example of this. So in my last relationship, I was always told off, an emphasis on the told off, right? I was always told to shut up, and sometimes it was in a jokey way, but then I think I said this in my last episode, I'm not sure, but then my mum told me that it was not in a jokey way. She saw him tell me to shut up numerous times, and it wasn't just about Taylor Swift. That was more about everything that I said. He would tell me to shut up because he didn't like me talking, but that is a completely different thing. But so yeah, I would get told off for going on about Taylor Swift. And yes, okay, I'm a little bit obsessed, but the way he legit told me off for being exciting about things, because that was the most exciting thing in my life at the time. I love Taylor Swift. And if there was like a new album out, so when 1989 Taylor's version came out, he stayed over that night as well, and I woke up at 5 a.m. UK time to listen to the album when it first came out. And he was saying, oh my God, go back to bed, stop playing Taylor Swift. I was so excited. If it was the other way around and he had a favourite artist, which he didn't have a favourite artist, but if they had just released an album and he wanted to wake up at 5 a.m, I would have woke up with him because it's exciting. But anyway, but yeah, so especially when I got tickets for Era's tour, he was there when I got them, and he said, to be fair, that was the first time he ever like said that he was proud of me. He was like, oh my God, or like, I'm so happy for you. But then I did keep going on about it because I was so excited, and you would be. If you've been waiting to get tickets that are so hard to get for so long, it's exciting. But then he was like, oh my God, stop. And so it just made me feel so stupid and so small, and like I shouldn't have a passion, and your loved ones should not be making you feel small. End of story. And I'll give another example on this. So when I had a big breakdown last January, so over a year ago now, that was when I wanted to drop out of uni for like the 10th time. Honestly, I always wanted to drop out. Finally, I did in the April. Coming up to a year now, by the way. That is mad that it's nearly been a year since I've decided to drop out of uni, and look at where I am now. But when I had that huge breakdown in January, he did not come over. He did not phone me. He did not say if I'm okay. He thought I was being stupid. He thought I was just having a breakdown, as I do. I was on the pill. I was hormonal. And yeah, he just thought it was another little breakdown like I did with my eating disorder. And he also quashed that a little bit as well, which I did not realise until very recently that he did. But anyway, and he would not come over. He had this big deadline because he was a finalist at uni. So he had this big deadline to do. And he was like, oh, I can't come over. You can't come over. I've got this huge deadline. And sure, he did stay up for 48 hours straight trying to get his work done. But at the same time, all I wanted was a hug from him. I said to him, I will drive over just for a hug and then leave. I do not care. I know it's an hour drive there and back, but I was just like, I will so come and see you right now. And he just completely ignored me. And then when he finally did see me a week later, and you know those weeks when you are just crying for hours, days, and you just don't stop crying basically, he finally came and saw me and just saw that I was a mess and that I was just like completely just out of it. And he finally felt bad for me, and he was like, I'm so sorry I wasn't here, but you should have been there, is what I said. But yeah, then we didn't have an argument about it because I was just happy to see him. But then he was telling me like, so why do you want to drop out? And I never really had a reason why I wanted to drop out. I was just an absolute mess. I you know what I mean? I just didn't want to be at uni anymore. And you know this, I've spoken about it a lot. And he would just be like, well, I can't help you if there's nothing wrong. You know, when your mum says that as well, when she's like, I can't help you if you don't talk to me. It was the exact same thing with that. And finally, when I did drop out in the April, when I told him, he was like, wait, what? Like, you've dropped out? And then when we broke up, like, he did admit that he thought, because I asked him, I was like, we're on about maturity levels and stuff, and I was like, oh my God. But I was like, when I dropped out of uni, did you kind of change your attitude with me, thinking that I was younger, that I was like immature and that I had no life path? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, well, thank you for admitting that, because I've got that from you. And his mum had the same attitude, and I'd heard her say things to him, and he relayed that information to me, and it just made me feel, again, so small, so like undervalued, and just so, yeah, just like not worth it. And I had no self-worth because he took it away from me. And I've had this before. Even friendships have done this to me. They've drained me. They've made me feel so inferior. But now I've come out of it, and now I know the importance of self-confidence. So this is such a good example that you can get out of those relationships. You can finally realize it. But the fact that love did blind me from it shows that, yeah, just how strong love can be. And that I just did not have any sense of self-worth during that whole 18 months of my life. And so here comes the concept of setting boundaries with friendships, relationships, with your family members. You need to tell them, whoever it is that is making you feel small, tell them how it makes you feel. Standing up for yourself, I know, is often easier said than done, but it's such an essential skill for maintaining these healthy relationships and boundaries. Many of us struggle with asserting our needs and desires, crucial for our well-being, and we're fearing these conflicts or rejections. However, learning to assert ourselves respectfully and confidently is ultimately good for us. One strategy I've learned is to practice this kind of assertive communication, which involves expressing your thoughts, feelings, and needs clearly and directly in a calm manner, and also respecting the rights of others. If you go into like a conversation with someone wanting to talk to them about it and you just start shouting at them, that is not productive in any way. That is not going to help with anything. This might involve using I statements to express your feelings. So instead of saying to them, you've done this, you've done that, say, I feel like you've done this. I feel like you're making me feel small. I feel like, you know what I mean? You use the I statement so you can express how you're feeling, not the actions that they've done, because that will like straight away put them in the defensive mode. If you say it in that kind of, yeah, I feel like this, I need your support, it should make them understand a little bit better. You need to set your boundaries with those statements as well, with your feelings, and refuse unreasonable requests as well. And by embracing this kind of assertiveness, we can all advocate for ourselves in a way that fosters this mutual respect and understanding in our reactions with others. And it is hard when those people don't understand it, but that's just how life works. Some people might not understand it, but if they are truly a loved one in your family, if they are a respectable partner, they will understand and they will try and find a way to support you. So set boundaries in your life so that no one makes you feel that way ever again, and just bloody stand up for yourself. Okay, maybe you're scared that person will walk out of your life if you stand up for yourself. But first of all, they should be proud of you for doing that. They should actually listen, not just nod their head, and support you and ask what they can do to help. If they retaliate and shout back, not saying that you should shout, as I've said, but do it in a very calm and intelligent way, I guess. But if they retaliate and shout back, tell them how that makes you feel. Is that as an example of how they've been making you feel this whole time? And if you feel uncomfortable, please just walk out of that situation. There is strength in walking out. There is strength in walking away. I don't mean run away from them, but that should show them that you're really not okay with what is going on. If you've tried to tell someone how they make you feel small, undervalued, etc., then they continue to do that when you're trying to get them to understand. Truth is, they probably don't understand and they never will. So they do not deserve someone like you in their life. Wrapping up the episode now, just know this. You are worthy of everything good in your life. You do not deserve the bullshit. So if you take anything at all from this episode, please take this. Know your self-worth because you are beautiful inside and out. Understanding self-worth is the cornerstone of empowerment and resilience. It's about recognizing your inherent value as a person, independent of external achievements or validation. When we have a strong sense of self-worth, we're better equipped to navigate life's challenges with confidence and grace. It involves acknowledging our strengths, accepting our flaws, and embracing our uniqueness. Self-worth isn't about being perfect. It's about honoring our worthiness of love, respect, and happiness simply by virtue of just being human. Cultivating self-worth requires self-reflection, self-compassion, all these things I talk about on a daily basis, and a willingness to challenge negative self-talk and limiting beliefs from yourself and from others. By prioritizing our self-worth, we can create this solid foundation for building healthy relationships, pursuing our goals, and living authentically, living your life just for you in the way that you want to live. And so it's exciting when you finally understand your self-worth, when you accept all your flaws and finally just live authentically. Being yourself can be hard, especially in this social climate, but it's the only thing that will set you apart from everyone else, because most people aren't authentic. There's Instagram filters, Facetune, fillers, makeup. And when you learn that you are beautiful inside and out, just the way you are, you see pure magic happen. It's all about self-growth and acceptance. Remember that you will always be your oldest friend, so be kind to yourself always. So on that note, I'm going to leave you in a very positive mood right now, and I hope you've jotted some of this down, journaled a little bit during this episode, and I hope you have a very good day knowing that you are worthy of everything good in your life. So goodbye.